Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. How is everybody doing today? Hope you're all doing amazing today. This is called Milk Carton by Madeline May. Oh, Eugene, fine, fine. We're back. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Hello, hello, hello. All right, let's go through. God damn it. God damn it. All right, chat. Step one. Good morning, Vanya. Thank you for getting first. Good morning, Moreau. Thank you for getting second. Good morning, Cat Lover. Thank you for getting third. And Marcus Cool. Thank you so much for the follow. How you doing this morning? How are you doing? We're gonna be stuck in the Southern Voice for a bit, so let's start going through all the people who are joined up today. Good morning, Moreau. Lovely to see you. Turn this up a little bit. There we go. Good morning, Moxie. Good morning, Keeper Fink. Good morning, Amethyst. Good morning, Cat Lover again. Good morning, KC. Is your name K Cat Attack? Interesting. Anyway, sorry. Good morning, Moxie. Good morning, Maggie. Good morning, Faye. Good morning, Mitchie. How you doing, Mitchie? How's the aunt coming? Good morning, Austin. Lovely to see you. Good morning, Cookie. Morning, Vanya again. Good morning, Lilith. How you doing? Mm. Good morning, Lily. How you doing, Lily? Good morning, Shay. Always good to see the little bunny. And yes, I did open the microphone just so I could pop it. And good morning, Marcus Cool. Hello, hello, hello. I don't know why you're awake. You should go back to sleep. Hello, the real Slim Shady. Good to see you back again. Stay awake forever. Never sleep. Never sleep. And good morning, everybody. How's everybody doing? Good? Good? Hopefully good. I'm still trying to wake up. This morning we do have Monster. Does anyone know if it hurts to get slapped? Yeah, fucking obviously. I mean, no. If someone commits violence against your face, it ain't gonna hurt. It's gonna feel good. Well, it depends on what you're into, honestly. But yes. Hmm. Oof. Ha. Hoo. Hoo. Hee. Ha. Hoo. Ah. Yee. Okay. We are awake. I do have. Good morning, Evil Demon. Lovely to see you. I have some energy drink with me today. It's good. It's helping me wake up. I think the Southern voice is going to screw me over in the long run, but hey, we're here. We're awake. I don't know what we're doing today. I have no plans. Wait, is that installed? You know what I could do? Nah, it's not going to run properly. I could do it though. Nah, if it's not going to run. What if I do it though? Hmm. 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 Maybe. Maybe. Ain't no way it's going to run properly though. Hi, Shay. Let's see. Let's see. If it's installed, if it's updated, we will play it. But if it ain't, it ain't. All right? Wait. Let's see how big it is. Let's see how big the update is. Maybe it's a little update. Maybe it's a tiny update. Maybe it's a little baby update. We're testing it. We're testing it, chat. We're gonna test it. I mean, yeah. Don't get slapped in the face. If you can get like slapped in the ass or something, go with that instead. Maybe get slapped in the back. Don't eat my wall candy. What are you doing? Oh, kiss for Jack. Come here. Mwah. Neeks. You ain't gotta call me out like that. You ain't gotta call me out like that. What are you doing? What are you doing? All right, chat. Now, I know nobody wants this. I know nobody wants this. I know only I might want this. Chat, I'm updating the game right now. I'm updating. Good morning, Honolulu. How you doing? No, 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 no. Hello, hello, hello. What is up, everybody? Sorry, my brain just shut off. 1 second. 1 second, chat. My brain's not working yet. Give you like 5 seconds. Once. I do not know, but I appreciate the shout out anyways. Mercy, mercy. Do 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 do. Man's running. Sorry. Yep, brain just works again. All right. Anyways, I'm gonna try to update a game right now. It's gonna take about 4 minutes here. It's gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine. Chat. I want you to guess what the game is. It's a big game. I'm gonna tell you that. Okay. Oh, the drink we're drinking today is. Oh right, I could do that. Neeks, sweetie, darling, little bunny. Why don't you go hop along? Behave yourselves. Don't make me make you behave. There we go. This'll do. Genshin Impact? Hell no, we ain't playing Genshin Impact. I don't play gotcha games, chat. I ain't got money. I ain't got money. Honey, when do you plan on doing your debut? I hope it goes well. Every freaking time. It's very easy. Poverty of hell. Yeah, exactly. Nah, it's too expensive. Just play on my account? Yeah, fine. Give me your account. Oh, well, honey Lou, I wish you all the best of luck. Mm-hmm. All right. It's still updating. We're at 3 minutes left, chat. To keep okay, chat, guess what? It's a big game. I'll tell you this. At launch the game did not do well. The game was really, 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 really buggy at the start. And what was I saying? Energy drink, right. Does it have hot men? I mean, there's a few hot men in it. Oh, Maggie, I know how that is. I know how that is. All right. Their question they asked before. What question did they ask? They didn't send a ask question. There's an ask question redeem if you'd like to ask a question. Moreau. Hi, Moreau. Moreau, sweetie, you are absolutely lovely. You are very, very kind. And I love when you share things about your hometown with us. Getting to see all those beautiful pictures has been amazing. You are a lovely person who brings such good energy to the stream. I'm so happy to see you here all the time. And I'm happy you found us. You make this community a better place just by existing in it. Thank you so much for the redeem, Moreau. Mwah. And Cookie, you're the bestest boy. You are the bestest boy, Cookie. What Austin asked? I don't know what Austin asked. Okay. Don't hide in the corner. All right, chat, we're almost there. It's almost done. I refuse to ever sleep. Good morning, Tima. How you doing? Please don't send me your login. Please do not send me your login for Genshin. Why did you actually send me your login for Genshin? I'm not playing Genshin on your account. I'm not playing Genshin on your account. Don't trust me. Vanya. I could be evil. I can take. Don't. Why are you hiding in the closet, Moxie? I could take all of your credentials. I could do everything. What did Mitchie say? Mm-mm. All right, chat. Keep guessing, though. We're at 31%. We have 1 minute left. Okay. This game is big. It is futuristic. Flavor energy drink? Oh, we have Ultra Strawberry Dreams this morning. Ultra Strawberry Dreams. I played very little of Genshin Impact. It's not a bad game, don't get me wrong. It's just, It's a gotcha game, and I don't really do gotcha games. Amethyst got it in one. Proud of you, Amethyst. We're doing Cyberpunk today. Why? I never did the DLC. Hello. Keeper, I was ignoring you. Hello, 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 Miffa. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you for the follow. No winners this time. Scrolling back. Sorry, let me go see what Mitchie's redeem was. Mitchie didn't do a redeem. Mitchie did not do a redeem. What do you mean I didn't see Mitchie's redeem? I'm looking at all the redeems right now. Don't you be like, Gene, there you missed him a redeem. There was not a redeem. Yeah, fight me. Good morning, Sally. Thank you so much for the follow. Greatly, greatly, greatly appreciated. How are you doing, Sally? How you doing, Sally? Yes, Amethyst got it. I can see them actively, Chad. I look at them nonstop. By the way, it said a minute until... Oh. It's finished downloading the game, but now it's applying the patches, so we still have to wait for the patches to go through. How dare you, game? How dare you be like, oh yeah, it's gonna be super quick, and then you don't tell me how long it's gonna take to apply the patches. Okay, we're gonna see how long it takes to go through 1%. You ready, Chad? We're gonna count together. We're counting. Are you ready, Chad? We're counting. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Okay, it's about 20 seconds per 1% a patch. Okay, now we got to do math, chat. It's going to be 97 times 20 divided by 60. 30 minutes? What? What do you mean 30 minutes? That doesn't make sense. That can't be right. I'm bad at math. I'm so bad at math, chat. We might just hang out here and do nothing forever. Chat, this just might be stream. The stream might just be waiting for a game to update that never finishes updating, so I'm just going to exist here. So the Southern voice redeem, how South we talking? Like South, still Northern? More Georgian is what my voice is that I do. Georgia. Goddamn Georgia. We're not watching that, Vanya. No. No. Cookie, good morning, Cookie. Cookie, sweet, sweet bunny. You are oh so lovely. You do fantastic art. You're a fantastic person. You bring such good energy to this community. I do really, really appreciate you whenever you come in here and you say hi and any of the raids and the raids you've led to me. You are very kind, sweet, adorable, and I do really, really, really appreciate you. Thank you so much for the redeem and being part of this community. Mwah. But yes. So, I guess we can talk, chat. You ready to talk? Chat, you ready to talk? You ready to talk about things? Today, here's the plan. This evening, we're doing 2 things. Chat, what 2 things are we doing? You should remember this, chat. This is a quiz. Hey, Gene, how's Blossom doing? I don't know. I think Blossom went off for a little bit. All right, chat, we're doing 2 things this afternoon. What are we doing? Come on, chat. You know what we're doing. We're not being gay and doing crimes. We do that normally. What are we doing specially tonight? What is happening tonight that's happening? Yes, Lily, you got the one. We are doing the voice demo. Does anybody know what the second thing is? If you do know the second thing, I probably haven't actually told you, and you're just guessing wildly. Committing arson? We are committing arson and getting drunk. No. Serena, why are you awake? Seriana, not Serena. Seriana. Can we get a shout out for Seriana there? Lovely, 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 lovely streamer. I haven't actually told you the other thing we're doing, chat. So, we're doing 2 things, and we're going to be doing this every 7th. Step 1, big release. We're going to be doing something every 7th. That's going to be a big thing for stream, whether it's going to be announcing an event, doing an event, doing a project, that kind of thing. Today's big thing is voice demo reveal. We'll be doing that live on stream. We'll then be posting it on Twitter, and if the Twitter post itself gets 100 likes, we'll be doing Drunken Karaoke as soon as that gets 100 likes. No matter when that happens, we will be doing it then, that same day. Number 2, we're going to do a stream review chat. We're going to go over where we are with streaming, kind of like, hey, guys, it's a business meeting, and deciding what we're doing next with streaming. That way y'all can be updated where streaming is going and how everything is growing, I think it'll be a lot of time to be hanging out, a lot of fun to go through that, review that kind of thing, Mm-hmm. Like this is what we're doing, this is what's coming next, let's keep going forward. Mwah. Yes. And then I don't know what else we'll be doing. So I'll be doing a little presentation. It's a business meeting, exactly. And the voice demo reel. Voice demo reel will be happening first. Can you say, Nya, I'm a cute cat boy. These aren't dog ears. They're kitty ears. I'm mean for ignoring Keeper. You happy, Keeper. You happy, Keeper. Great power comes great responsibility tricks. All right, chat, we are at 13% of the patches. Come on. Really? Insane. What are you applying? What are you doing in the background game? I guess we'll have to do something else. Unless we just want to talk. I don't want to talk to people. Talking is hard. Talking is so hard, chat. I want to shoot things in futuristic space. Say meow only if you do the redeem. Talking is hard. I like talking to you, chat. It's just like, I'm so tired. I don't want to think. Be caveman, me, caveman. Welcome to Caveman Stream. We only talk like this now. Wait, that was too many words. Me only talk this. Ooga chaka, ooga chaka, ooga, ooga, ooga chaka. So tired. No, see, the problem is, I could normally sleep this amazingly. I could sleep amazingly. I would have been so rested, so good. But I'm on call, chat. And so you know what happens? You know what happens every 5 minutes? My body decides, hey, Gene, you need to go check your phone to see if somebody messaged you, and then you just slept through the message. Okay, no, you didn't sleep through the message. Okay, back to sleep. Hey, Gene, guess what? You're still on call. You need to check your phone to see if anybody messaged you. Did anybody message you? No? Okay, you can go back to sleep. Hey, Gene, guess what? It's been 5 more minutes. Wake the fuck back up and look at your phone. It's over and over and over. I hate being on call. Oh. Hi, little blossom. You're such a pretty little blossom, don't you? The way your petals sit around your shoulders. Adorable. But yes. Well, no, Amethyst. I'm working. I can't ignore my phone. I'm not allowed to work where... I'm not allowed to ignore my phone. I actually have to turn on notifications. Which, by the way, then I'll get oh, guess what? Gene commented on a viral Twitter post. So guess who's getting reminded every 30 seconds Gene commented on a viral Twitter post? It's me. Moxie. That better not be what I think it is. Welcome back. They are really pretty. You do have very pretty petals. Vanya. Effort. Eeps. God, I even look tired. How do I look tired? That's insane. Thank you for the stretch. This model is so expressive. Don't blow my phone up. Don't blow my phone up. I need it. I am a little EPs. mm, okay. No, don't blow me up. I don't want to be blown up. It's so hard not to be blown up already. Every once in a while, I'm just like feels the urge to explode, and then a boom. All right, I guess let's see what other games we have. If that game isn't ready yet, we have no games, chat. We are the PlayStation 5. We have no games, chat. We have How Fish is Made. We have Iron Lung, which I already beat. We have Little Nightmares, which I already beat. We have Monstrum, which I don't know what that is. We have the Pony Factory, which I also beat. Right. I don't want to call myself a good boy. No, refund. I'm bad today. I'm a bad boy. Refund. What did you ever make it past the first? We did make it past the first part. Keeper, I did eventually get past it. Possessed skeleton shaking ass. We're not watching the stupid skeleton. Oh my god. It is a 15-minute long video, and there's 5 minutes that are funny. Who does this? Who makes this? And I understand, oh, hey, we can play The Walking Dead. No. We can play this game. No. This game? No. I'm a bad boy. I'm a bad boy. Good morning, Demoness Chip. How you doing? The two voices in my head be like. I restarted the game 3 times, by the way, chat. I did have to restart the game 3 times. I can tell you how I got scammed, chat. I had a friend back in the day doing a gunshot roulette collab. He's like, oh yeah, we're gonna play Buckshot with Friends. I'm like, cool. And then I went online and I found Buckshot with Friends. The game was its own separate game. No, Buckshot with Friends is a ripoff of Buckshot Roulette. And yeah, I got scammed. I bought the game. It was only like $2, but still, it was not the right game. I'm not playing Genshin, chat. I would have to download the game. It's gonna take even longer. Why would I play Genshin, chat? Why? What? Okay. What makes Genshin a good game, chat? Walk me through this. Convince me, chat, right now. Why should I get Genshin? Come on. Woof 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 woof. Every game has gambling, chat. If you play it properly, come on. You're gonna have to be better than that. Mm-hmm. You can develop a crippling gambling addiction. I already have one of those, chat. I already have one of those. I just like to bet on hobo fights instead. Just kidding. I don't bet on hobos fights. I haven't seen a hobo in hours. Fast Penguin is Fast Penguin. Fast Penguin. Fast Penguin. Fast Penguin. Fast Penguin. Fuck is Fast Penguin? I don't believe you. That's a thing. the fuck is Fast Penguin? I do like the horse gotcha. I will play more of the horse gotcha. Not today. Because I need Dar for that. And Dar's not playing with me right now. HSR. Husser. Husser. The fuck is Husser? Well, it's not on Steam. I tried. Silver and Blood. What is Silver and Blood? And it's not coming up on Steam either. But Fog and Silver is. What the fuck is Fog and Silver? Oh, this game's not even out yet. Weird. Okay. Monster Hunter. That's going to take even longer to install. Be nice to Vanya for a whole stream? Fine. Vanya, I love you. Vanya, you're great. Vanya, you're amazing. Vanya is the best. Vanya has a big chest. I wanted it to rhyme. That's all I could think of. And it's true. Have I played Star Rails? I've not. Hello, Lilith38. Thank you for the hydrate. Cheers. Vanya, you posted Twitter pictures. All right, chat, we're halfway there. We're making it, chat. We're going to make it. Then we're going to make a character together. Wait, chat. Do we do a male or female character? Boy or girl? Or, I guess, futa, actually. We can make a titties with the schweenus. You can technically make a futa. What? And I mean, like, literally, because, like, you can technically pick the voice, which just determines the gender. They have the full schweenus, and they have the titties. So it would, like, this is not me being like, oh, they're trans. It's like, no. Technically, this would be the only time saying futa is not transphobic. To be fair, it's like, probably like, I don't know. It's science, chat. It's a science penis. It's a science penis, chat. I don't know what that makes it. But it's not intersex, because I doubt it is, like, having both. It's not like an in-between thing. It is legitimately schweenus with the titties. We're trying to make a character in Cyberpunk. Is it raw? What do you mean, is it raw? In Cyberpunk. Chat, we're putting it to a vote. But no, intersex though is having like the different with the chromosomes, not chromosomes, with the with chromosomes, the chromosomal thing. Right. This isn't a chromosomal thing, so it would not technically be it's not genetic. It's just you've chosen to have a fully working schweenus and the titties and anyway. This combo is confusing. Welcome to my live chat. All right, chat, we're going to run a poll. All right. Here's the poll. Schweenus. Titties and schween. All right, chat. Vote. Chat vote. Who are we getting? What are we playing? What kind of character are we playing? Who has a channel about reading memes and he's doing a good job out of it? Well, I'm proud of him for reading memes. Memes can cheer up. No, I'm going to be sad forever. Anyways, hello. What are we doing, chat? I got distracted. Do you like shrimp TikToks I send? You send me shrimp TikToks? When have you sent me shrimp? All right, chat. Who are we doing? Titties and Schweenus? Titties and Schweenus it is. Titties and Schweenus it is, chat. Evil skeleton. We're not watching the evil skeleton video. Hello, Moon is right here. Were you here yesterday? Hello, Moon is right. How you doing? Welcome, 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 welcome. I could have sworn you were here yesterday. Anyways, good to see you. Mwah. How you doing? How's your morning going? How's everything doing? How is life? I love when Gene sticks out his tongue. It's adorable. God, I can't wait. Oh, another thing I want to talk about. Chat. No, they're gonna have a tiny butt, and the Schweenus is gonna be the biggest Schweenus I can get, so that they accidentally fall over. They're gonna be sneaking around and get weighed down by their giant cock. Colonel, I keep trying to sneak around, but the weight of my giant cock keeps unbalancing me and alerting the guards. Colonel, my brand new giant titties and massive, massive cock has made it hard for me to sneak around because it unbalances me. I'm just imagining. It's not even that funny, but I can't breathe. Give me a second. Okay. Have you seen? One second. Okay. Demoness Jeb, you are a good little demon. You are such a good little demon. So, have you seen that video where like it's like for some reason it's called like Africa Science or something, and they have like a piece of bread with butter, and he drops a piece of bread with butter and always laying butter side down, and then like he holds a cat and he tries to flip the cat upside down and drops it, but the cat always lands on his feet. So he ties the toast to the cat, and when he drops it, it just infinitely spins. And then he puts it in a washing machine and charges his house. It's really weird. But that's what I'm imagining with, like, Solid Snake having giant titties and a massive cock. Is like he's falling backwards, but the weight of both of them makes him flip every time. And so you just have, like, Solid Snake can't do anything except land on his face. I have a question about this idea. It's a bad idea. Woof, 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 woof. I mean, what? Oh, sorry, chat. I wanted to talk about this. I'm trying to figure out what we want to do next. If I want to go 3D model, or if I want to stay 2D model. Because I think it'd be really cool to be 3D. Then I can move around a lot more, and I can be more energetic, and I can walk around, and we can, like, hang out. We can do stuff together. And then you can punish me by, like, being like, oh, Gene, you have to do push-ups now. And then I have to do push-ups. And yeah. Yes. Just big enough to mess up his balance. I know both are cool, but I'm going to tell you this now, chat. For me to get a model this expressive and everything I want on it, like this, and I can do this, and I can do... for me to get something like this, is going to cost like $10,000. And then the 3D model is probably going to be at least another $2,000 on top of that. Like this model itself with $30. But for me to get this in a custom model, my God, is it going to be expensive. So I can't do both right away. Do I have the setup for 3D? I do have Oculus Rift, but there are programs that do track just 3D, like newer programs that just use like this. Also, trackers would only be like maybe $600. So, like, for me to do the full-on, oh, Moxie, baby boy, what's going on? Hello, Karaka? Karika. I don't know how to say your name. You're going to have to walk me through it. Thank you so much for the follow. But yes, a 3D model would probably be cheaper in the long run, right off the bat. I want to buy 3D trackers anyways. Rika. Hello, Rika. Karika. Mwah. Morning. I want to rip my face off this stupid hair. Fuck it. Who needs faces, chat? Faces are illegal. Okay, we are 81% chat. We're almost there. You want to be the favorite as Jean's birthstone? You are a birthstone. You are my birthstone. And 3D does seem fun as hell. I just don't know if it's going to be as expressive. And I need to find a good, 3D modeler who does cool shits. But just imagine how much, and I could get so much exercise, chat. Every day streaming would be exercise. I'd get 4 hours of exercise every day. Unless I just sit down here as a 3D model. I could just sit here as a 3D model and just be like, me. I'm 3D, chat. Thank you. But we'll see. I have ideas for the new model. I do want to do 2 versions of my model, too, so that'd be so expensive. Chat, I need infinite money. Is anybody here really, really rich and just wants to give me infinite money, chat? Raise your hand. Raise your hand if you're infinitely rich. If you have so much money that you have too much money and you want to give it to me. Hi, Echo. None of you have money. How dare you? Chad, if one of you is not a rich oil tycoon, what is wrong with you? Clearly, I need to be trying harder to seduce rich old men. Chad, if you know rich old men, please tell me. I'll go seduce them. I will take all their money. I'll be their boy wife. Make sure they die at a young age, and then we take their money, and then I can afford all my VTubing stuff. Yay! Oh, can I be your daughter, Rika? God, and I'm gonna be paying for a person to help me do like all my projects that I want coming up, and I'm gonna pay out money for other things and art and animation stuff, and it's just so expensive. Tima, you have money? Give me your money. I mean, if you want a mother, I could use one. Hey, I get to break up your grandparents and I'll marry one of them. I don't care the gender of the sugar person as long as they give me the money. And then I can afford more stream stuff and I can be broke again because I would go through if I had, I'm going to be honest, chat. If I had like $1 million, it would last a month. I would have such cool stream stuff. I would spend all the money right away. It'd be gone. And if I had $50, it'd be gone. Because I'm bad with money. You call him daddy, but if he ain't got no sugar, he can't be a sugar daddy. That's a sucrose daddy. Saccharin daddy. Chat, okay. We need a name for this. If there's a guy who pretends like he has money, but doesn't actually have money, and tries to be a sugar daddy but can't afford it, what do you call him? Like an aspartame father? A sucrose sir? I'm dying. 1 second, let me die. Right back. I like Daddy No Money. It Do you think as BB No Money grows up, we have to start calling him Daddy No Money if he runs out of money? Do we call him Daddy No Money now? You think rich people would love to have a human pet? It's not ethical, but as long as you like to be a pet, I guess. I mean, Chad, I've worked for rich people. I've worked for very rich people. They own people. They own people. He's sweeping. Who's sweeping? Money, no daddy. I wish, Moxie, I wish I had that problem. Money, no daddy. All I have is daddy, and I have no money. Who's that wandering in the trees? There's two sailors in the alley. Do 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 do. I don't have money, but life like I do. I don't have money, but I live like I do. See, apparently you're supposed to do the opposite. You're supposed to live like you have no money. And apparently that makes you rich. I wouldn't know. I refuse to do that. I have an okay amount of money, but I also spend it like I shouldn't. All right, we're 84% done, chat. We're almost there. We're almost there, chat. We can do it. Together, we can make it. I don't have money, but... Oh, live. Not life. Not life. Live. You live like you do. Money sure is important. I know, but I like spending it too much, and I want more. I need to figure out a way. I mean, that's the goal, chat. If we can get up to like a 50 viewer average, we're going to start applying for sponsorships. And once we get some sponsorships, I can sell you all G-subs and junk. I mean, not you all. But you all. My goal, chat, is that the shit that you buy online, you can buy through me. And that way, you still get the stuff that you want. But I also get paid. Wouldn't that be great, chat? Just imagine every time you go buy food, it's like, also, this small percentage of money goes to Gene to help Gene afford stupid things. Like buying more models and assets and food. No bunk. I should bring back bunk. I need to figure all that stuff out, chat. I will bring back. I'll get the redeems that I need to make, and I'll do all that stuff. It's just so much effort. So much effort. I'm lazy. I'm not lazy. I just spend all my time actually streaming and not making stuff for stream. That's the goal. Get on a waifu cup. Get my bulge on a waifu cup. Batosai, would you buy caffeine with half naked men on it? Batosai, would you buy caffeine with half naked men on it? It could be me, chat. It could be me. Maybe they'll put me on a cup. I know, Amethyst. It's just so much work and effort. Hello, Dinosaur Army. How you doing? Yes, Vanya. Have a good day, Lily. Mwah. Drive safe. Be careful. Hey, Gene, just came by. I saw this title. It's 3:24. Hello, all. Oh, don't go to sleep. Stay awake. Stay awake. You're not allowed to go to sleep. Stay awake. Hello for Lady Monroe. It's been a little bit. How you doing, sweetie? Hello. What are you doing there, fair Lady Monroe? Eat lunch. Enjoy your lunch, Moreau. Send me pictures. That's fair. Go get some sleep. I appreciate you coming by. What flavor? We ready to talk? The game's done. Woo! All right, chat. We can do it. No. Also, the game might run really badly, so let's find out what happens if we can even stream it. Stop sinking! I don't care if you're sinking. Don't sink. Let me play the game. Stop sinking. Stop sinking. I want to play the game. Stop sinking. Come on. Let me play. Cancel sync. I don't care. Yay. Gamer girl thighs. All right, chat. We're gonna see if we can get G-subs to make half-naked himbo cups for me. It's important. I don't wanna make it a count. Stop making me do things. Let me play game. Ah. Let me in. Let me in. Oh, we're gonna have to adjust the settings. 1 second, chat. Boop 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 boop. CD Projekt Red. Yeah. It goes. Hello. Yes, exactly. We're thinking. I want to see if we can get half naked gamer girl cups that are me, himbo. So not a gamer girl. We're gonna be playing Cyberpunk. You naked. But how you doing? Welcome. All right, come on, Cyberpunk. Be a good girl. Yeah, you can drink me, chat. Drink me. We're not reading the user agreement. You can just take my soul. It's okay. All right, we're gonna do. That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. We're doing fine. Game looks like it's still running fine. Where is windowed mode? Who stinks? Chat, which one of you did it? Which one of you smells bad? Who is it? Who is it? It's one of you. It's not me, chat. I have not showered yet, but I know it's not me. It's not me, chat. It's not me. You stink. Playing this game at 60 frames per second. All right, chat. We're going to do this. Oh, Vanya, drop all of your posts. Vanya, drop every single. Oh, I knew it. God, is that what I was sniffing, Maggie? How dare you, Maggie? All right, we're gonna play hard. Chat, we're gonna play this game hard. Oh, come on, Monroe. You can do it, Monroe. You're doing so good. You got this, Monroe. We're obviously playing Nomad because Nomad's the best. We will be this body type. Where's the Shweenus? We have to equip the Shweenus. Chat, don't look. Chat, do not look. Chat, close your eyes. Actually, you know what? We'll do this real quick. 1 second. Okay, chat, we've equipped a Shweenus. They have a Shweenus now. Run for your life. Oh, wait, chat, you're not... chat, it's not working. I can't see chat. Well, we'll fix it in a bit. But I can see chat over here. Hello, chat. Shweenus, normal size. I'm not a fan of... Oh, that's the one we want. We want this one. I love her already. Color is good. Nose. Damn it. No. Rotate. Nose is great. Face is great. Cyberware, let's swap that out. God, she looks tired. I love her. Girl is so girly pop right now. This is the top. Hello, seriously, Donnie. Was it another VTubers chat? Someone in the chat said, "Do you goon to other VTubers?" That was crazy. That is crazy. Who would goon to other VTubers? That's insane. Chat, would you goon to other VTubers? Chat, do you goon to VTubers? Point redeems. Would you goon to VTubers? I mean, to be fair, chat, we did bring out me getting a body pillow, and I said, chat, would you boink my body pillow? And a large amount of you said yes. Unabashedly, it said yes, you would boink my body pillow. which you know. Ooh, scars, we need scars. Good. Facial tattoos. Wait, can we make a Maori baddie? Piercings. We need better piercings. We didn't need a vote for that, chat. Okay, I like the color, but let's make this vibes. That had nothing to do with gooning. I mean, that's fair. That's fair. Have normal teeth, eye makeup. What do we got? You wouldn't fuck a body pillow? Well, that's fair. I wouldn't either. I'll be fully honest here. Not my thing. But you know, I won't yuck your yum. You do you. You do you, girly pop. God, this makeup's boring. Eyeliner, my kryptonite. I do like that, but I like this tattoo, and so I want to do more with that. Why am I vibrating? Oh, Vanya is blowing up my phone. I'm like, why do I keep vibrating? Because Vanya keeps sending me TikToks. I don't know, this is kind of boring. Jay, who wants to see shrimp? What shrimp are you sending, Vanya? So I'm not. You know what? Fuck it. We'll just. No eye makeup for you. No eye makeup for you. Be tired looking like me. Look tired. Facial scars we did. Cyberware we do off. Ears are fine. Mouth is fine. Eyelash color. Let's go. That's fine. Eyebrows. Let's give a little bit more eyebrows. No, actually, I like the thinner eyebrows. Eyebrow color. Going back to the black. Perfect. Hair color fine. Ooh. Maybe. Dry humming the body pillow till someone says bad dog and neuters you. White? White? Good morning, Chubb. What the fuck was that? What the fuck was it? Pin it. Pin it. Pin it. Pin it. Pin it. That's but yeah, there you go. Get your spot of shame. Enjoy your shame. Chat, she looks too tired. Okay. I'm gonna... You know what? We're gonna hit randomize until I'm happy. Actually, that's kind of sick. Uh-huh. No. Not yet. Kind of. Maybe. Chat, give me a number between 1 and 20. 1 and 20 right now. First person to give it to me gets to pick. 5? Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Kind of boring. We'll work with it. Okay. 6. Better. I like this better. Okay. I like the hair. Hair's sick. Let's change the hair color. Hair color, we're gonna do. No, 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 no. We're completely. Yes! Yes. Okay. Hair color, good. Eyes. Eyes are fine. That works. Eye color. Ooh, thank you so much for the redeem. Let's do. Wait. Chat. I need to get the color right. I just realized something. Who am I? Who am I if I do not have red hair? We need redder hair. Where's redder? Where's more red? That's not my red. They don't have my red, chat. They don't have my red. Oh, no. I guess we'll go with the black and red then. It's about probably the closest we can get. Actually, this one is probably the closest. Thank you for the stretch. Hi, Aiden. How you doing? Fine, we'll do this red. Need different face makeup. Cyber is fine. Facial fat tattoos. Where's the makeup? 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 Where's makeup? Where's makeup? Where's makeup? Cheek makeup. All right. Eye makeup. Where's the eyelashes? Eyelashes. Chat, I can't find the eyelashes. Help. Chat. You are so very, very lovely, chat. I hope you know that. Without you, the stream would not exist. So I hope you all know how much I appreciate you, okay? You make this stream so much better. It just wouldn't be any fun without you. I'm so glad you're here. I really do appreciate all of you so very, very, very much. And now we're going with eyebrows. And something about this I don't like. But thank you all for being here. I don't like her teeth. And lipstick. Is she bruised? Is that what's happening here? I think she's bruised, chat. Oh, titties. 1 second, chat. The titties are technically fine, chat, but I am just going to pull them off screen while I also need to go do the other portion of this. And looking fine. Wait, why does she have a bruise? Where's the bruise coming from? I don't want a bruise. One second, chat. We're almost there. Almost. And next. Oh, the titties are still out, chat. Okay. I'm going to pick some stats real quick. Okay, let's see. Do we want to make them stealthy? Do we want to make them strong? Do we want the intelligence? Chat, what do you think? Should we do intelligence? Should we do strength? Should we do quick shooty guy? I think she'd be sick as a quick shooty person, personally. So we'll throw some into reflexes, a little body, some technical ability, and another in reflexes. Actually, I think I need to do a different body tattoo. 1 second, chat. Almost there. Almost there, chat. I can't show you yet because all of the body parts are still on display. We're working on it though. I promise. Almost there. Almost there. All right, chat. We're back. I put away the titties. Apparently, she's wearing nothing. It's all out on display. There ain't no boxers. There ain't no nothing. It's just out there all the time. There we are. I dig her. Hi, Aya. How you doing? Oh, we also got to do this real quick. 1 second. Video. Window. Apply. Oh, this is so annoying. I can't put chat overlay. No. Why can't I do chat overlay? I don't want it like this. I want chat overlay. Let me have my overlay. Makes it so much harder to read chat. Oh well, I'm gonna have to keep looking back. Game volume okay, everybody? Fast. 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 Sorry.
That's fine. Step aside.
How's everybody doing? Did y'all have a good time while we went through this? Hotwire. Chat, can you hear game okay? Nobody's responding to me yet. Chat, answer me. Is the game sounding okay? Good, okay.
Okay, let's see what happens.
Perfect. Enjoy your passing out, chat. You sleep well. I hope you all enjoy your sleepies.
Not shabby at all. Question's how long it'll last.
And we're gonna run them over.
It'll get me to Night City. I'll figure something else out there.
Right.
Well, I wish you luck, Maggie. I wish you luck.
I'm looking for someone. Jackie Wells?
Isn't this so? Look, I mean, look at this car, though. Look how futuristic it is, chat. You had the same thought? What thought, Aiden?
Antenna on this heap don't seem like it packs a punch. Not liable to hear much.
You don't say.
Hey, Mike. Didn't know you had a customer. Rolled in a few hours past. I thought she'd at least called in to you. Don't you sweat it, Mike. We're gonna hash it out.
Well, you know, if I could, I would.
Don't you know
Chad, I don't want to be pinned anymore. I feel too much shame seeing my words there.
Tell him what's brought you here.
Okay. We'll pin somebody else. Chat, I need somebody to say something awful. Chat, right now, I want you to say something flirty. Flirt with me, chat.
Hey,
I'm just passing through.
talking to you.
No need to worry, I won't be staying long.
Didn't answer my question now, did you?
I believe in you, chat. You can say it.
Name's Andrew Jones. Probably.
Riz. Perfect. Ika, you're getting pinned. Enjoy your pin. I could make you my good boy. I doubt you could. I doubt you could.
Served in Spec Ops during the last war.
Nice try, though, Moxie.
Silver shoguns, ring any bells?
Okay, chat. Okay, chat.
Do you?
Okay. yeah, 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 yeah. Nope, that's staying. That's staying. That's staying forever. That's staying forever. That's staying, chat. That's staying forever. I show settings. 1 second, I need to see if I can figure this out real quick.
Hey, I'm talking to you.
Overlay working. I'm so upset. It's so hard for me to.
What? Suddenly all
I'll just fix it up and go. I have no reason to linger.
No.
This is frustrating, chat. I need to find a new chat. We're gonna look for a new chat overlay.
Nothing boils my blood like a fucking stray. Where'd your clan pitch camp?
Nope, you have to live there forever.
Hey.
Let's see if this one works. Oh my god, chat, I can use my phone.
What? Suddenly all shy.
I'll do that later. Chat. No, well, no. Okay, so Vaughnia, the issue is, so like right now, I can see chat, top left corner of my screen, which is amazing. Like I can read it nonstop. Okay. No, not literally any screaming software of my. Okay, y'all don't understand. I don't think anybody understands what I'm talking about here. So here, I'm gonna show you all what I talk about. When I say that I have a Twitch chat overlay, it's not what you all are thinking. Okay. This is what I have. Give me a second. We're going to do a... And this is how I'm able to keep up with chat so frequently, but not all the time. Because, here. This is what my screen looks like. Where the fuck is it? Oh my god, where'd it go? Okay, we're just going to... There it is. There, see? That's what my screen looks like. Over every game, I have this chat overlay, okay? Which makes it a lot easier for me to like play the game and still read everything because you're right in my eyes. And so there are certain games that like prioritize overlaying that, like they'll prioritize over that, and so I can't see this anymore. So I need a way to be able to read chat without having to keep looking to my left all the time, because I will forget to do that sometimes, and maybe I won't see activity. Instead of, like playing the game, look over, play the game, look over, play the game, look over, I just constantly can see the activity, which makes it a lot easier to stream to you all. That's why I hate games like this, because there's nothing I can't see. I can't see what I need to see. Use dank chat? What is dank chat? Welcome back. Oh, but that's on... Let's see what this is. Okay, but this is on phone, right? Dank chat is on phone, so I would need to put it on phone anyways. And that means I would have to look down to see it, which was not actively in my view. I'd need to find a way. Yes, there's music in this game that makes weird noises. I'd need to find a way to glue my phone to my computer screen so that I can constantly see it. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to look into buying a thing that I can attach to my monitor. Fine, I'm talking to you. God damn it, man.
I'm here alone.
I need to find something I can glue to my monitor to make it so that I can have my phone visible all the time.
My family's in pieces. That's why I'm headed for Night City.
Mm-hmm.
Makes you an outcast among outcasts. Sure as hell hope you'll be on your way.
Yeah, but then I have to hook it up to the stand. It also means that I'm down a phone. So if I need my phone for something, that screws me over.
I saw a broadcasting comms tower on my way in. My antenna's down and I need to radio someone.
What you need's to hightail it out of here without another word.
Well, yeah, most of the phones that I have are broken, though. Or they're in my car. They're a bunch of, like shitty phones that don't really function. Now, I do have an iPad.
You like the sound
I do have an
of my
iPad.
voice,
So if I can
don't
get,
you?
like, an iPad stand, I could put that up here, like,
Nothing.
right
Nothing
above
at
my
all.
monitor, maybe. But that's still having to look up. I like having it on my screen, chat, because it's so nice to be like, oh, I can actively see what's going on, you know? And like if my screen is covered and I can barely see anything, I know that the chat is popping. There's no additional like having to look anywhere else. It's so nice. Why do I have a million phones? I can't tell you why. I cannot tell you why I have a million phones. Chat, Vanya, do not mention anything about why I have a million phones. And I cannot tell you why I have a million phones. Most of them don't work. I have a bunch. I cannot tell you why I have a billion phones, chat. I know I have before on stream, Vanya. I can no longer do that. I will explain it to you off stream.
Hello?
Come in. Come in. Ah, raised you finally.
Willie McCoy. It's good to hear your voice.
Fee. Wish I could say the same.
I need your help.
Okay, Vanya.
One
Mwah.
last time.
One last time.
Stop
Again?
pissing yourself off.
I have to find the client with my payload.
Who's Hull?
But I don't know where he is.
Thanks for the lurk, Vanya.
Right place, right time. You were there?
Of course I was. Maybe the client left a message. Did you check for me?
But yeah. I will be, I guess I'll be finding like an iPad stand or something. Maybe that'll
Last
work.
name?
Jackie Wells.
I know it is sad.
Huh. Actually
Who
left
else
a
is
message.
doing it? We're gonna look it up.
He's waiting on a farm. Flicking you the geoloc data.
Thanks, Willie. I owe you one.
You do. Just don't get yourself killed. And don't call again.
We're completely fucked, completely fucked. We're completely fucked. Okay, this might work. I need something that's flexible, though. That might work. This might work. Oh, I'd have to buy it from their website. It's $70. $70 for an iPad stand. What kind of iPad stand is $70? It's metal. What do you mean? Why do I have a safe word redeem? Because I had in the past used to flirt a lot more, like aggressively, and I don't want people to feel uncomfortable. So people could redeem the safe word, and that way I wouldn't flirt with them. And I still, I want people to feel comfortable. So if somebody's feeling uncomfortable by like the way I talk to them or anything, I would like, them to not feel like that. Shit. Okay. Maybe $50. Why are you so expensive? This is $24. Tablet floor stand. Bet, chat. Right here. This is what we need. $24. Is this going to be shitty? Probably. Oh. That's because I didn't want one person doing it all the time. All right, chat, we're going to see if this iPad stand is too cheap and if it's going to be shitty, okay? That's fair. I'm sure it's fine. Actually, I don't like this one. Yes, chat, I'm sorry that you're having to sit here while I try to buy an Amazon iPad stand. That might work. All right, chat, we're going to try this one. Mwah. I did make the custom audio cheaper. $30, chat. All right, we'll see if the iPad thing gets here. I do still owe you yours, Keeper. It will get to you eventually, I promise. I might increase the price, though, chat. You better redeem... When you want the audios, you should redeem the audios. The price does change. And if too many people redeem them too quickly, which has happened in the past, I've increased them. That is why they were so expensive, because people were watching streams so often that I had to increase the price. Chat, I'm such a good driver. I am such a good driver, chat. Because it was getting to some people, like, redeeming 10 in one day. You can also redeem it now and then tell me what you want me to say later. I do, chat. That's exactly how I drive in real life. Hello, hottie. Look at this man. Look how gorgeous he is. Look how gorgeous he is. Look at his muscles. Chat, look how big he is. Look how big he is.
I believe I am. Are you...
Name's Jackie Wells.
Seems you have cargo that needs to be moved.
He's hot.
Where I'm from, you share a bit about your soul before you
He's hot.
biz. Eh?
He's hot.
It's kind of like a custom. Or just good manners, you know?
Why don't we start with you, then?
NC native right here. Got Haywood in my blood.
Never been to NC. That doesn't mean much to me.
Stinky jet.
Imagine a place where
Chat's
everyone's
stinky.
like your bro or sis. Or a distant cousin, at least.
I think I understand. You don't have to like each other, but it's family.
That's Haywood. That and
That's just the
everybody
angle.
back in
It's just the
Iron.
angle. Not one arm is not thicker than the other.
guess-
I promise.
You could say I'm from my own Haywood.
We're gonna
Smells
get
like
along
Jackie.
fine. The cargo.
Cargo space? No, car don't do that. Cargo road.
Let's load it in the car.
A huevo.
Moxie, I can't help you with that. I am sorry that you're feeling that way, but there's nothing that we can do here in China.
Started thinking you might not come.
I got held up. And you weren't exactly easy to find.
Taking.
Decided to lay low, you know? The sheriff looked like one grouchy motherfucker.
Thank you for the redeem. Penguin.
Yep.
I go by He-They. Chat, what do you go by?
What a fat ass.
Chia. Good choice, good choice. And here we go.
Oh, we headed out?
Man gets in the car and immediately goes, are we heading out? Bro. You're basically a bitch. Oh, I'm a basically bitch? You mean basic bitch?
Of course you did. Fixer didn't give you the job.
He-They. Good choice, good choice.
He did. I was just making sure.
Amazing.
Listen, friend. We're both professionals, ain't we?
Nope. I think you want to say you're basically a bitch. Chat, I'm basically a bitch.
Sure you've moved contraband before?
Why?
You know, I've never tried. Oh, chat, we can't get past the wall. The wall's too big. Never mind. Go back. He'll bite me. All of you so cute. Everybody is so cute. They're adorable. Adorable, chat is adorable. Hashtag adorable. Enjoy your sleep, Moxie. Ow. Why is my phone going off nonstop?
What now?
Ah.
Scan us.
There we go. We're fine. I'm such a good driver, chat. I'm such a good driver.
I'll do the talking.
You would not believe my eyes when 10,000 fireflies. Basic bitch too. He, him. Good choice. Good choice. Let me in. Let me in. Let me in. Hit him. Damn it.
Remain in your vehicle. The security check will begin shortly.
Yeah. I don't want to listen to this.
Feeling about this.
Hand me the manifest. They'll need to see it.
Grab these.
Chat, imagine a job. Chat, imagine having jobs.
Huh.
Chat, jobs.
Marked LOA.
Resumes.
Perfect.
What's that mean?
Lost on arrival. Means the cargo was flagged as to be lost as soon as it crossed the border.
Oh, so they know we're smuggling.
Well, they're about to find out.
The owner of the vehicle.
Chingada madre. What now?
If we want the customs officer to turn a blind eye to our dubious
Bro, you need to
acts,
get a really
we
good
need to
job. That
sweep.
way you can
Do you have a credit chip with the
give me
bribe?
all your money. Chat, I'll
Oh.
take your money.
Yeah.
Take me all your money. Chat, please. If you have money, I want it. Give. All of your money. Pay your taxes.
Right.
Streamer. This is
forgot.
streaming tax. Chat, we're initiating a streamer tax. If you want to watch my stream, you're gonna have to pay the streaming tax. For enjoying this lovely service of me crashing out every day and drinking endless caffeine
You're armed,
beverages,
place your weapon
you're
here.
gonna need to pay me out. I'm sorry, Penguin. That's too far away. Have mercy. No, it's happening. Chat, we're invoking capitalism.
Please
We're
sit.
invoking capitalism.
Papers.
Mwah.
Is this routine?
It might be.
I have
We'll
Monster Ultra Strawberry Dreams today.
see. Hmm.
It's very tasty.
What are you transporting?
That's fair.
It's all in there.
I mean, technically, anybody who subbed has already paid the tax. Anybody's already paid the tax.
Everything?
There's one additional enclosure to the manifest.
Oh, wait, what's this? Thank you for the follow, Joltra. How you doing? Good morning.
Ah, yes. Remind me, you drive for which nomad clan?
Mm-hmm. You can't give me your government-issued money? Why not? Doesn't the government understand how important streaming is?
None. No clan. I drive for myself.
Oh. And none too wise. You know, whenever I see someone like you, I'm
Chat,
oh
call up your
so
government, be
grateful
like,
not
hey,
to
I
be
need
on
money
that
to give
side
to
of the
Gene.
table.
The feeling's mutual.
Almost got the
Go
jackpot.
on.
Sorry you didn't win this time.
Your associate's waiting for you in the
Have you
car.
paid your stream attach? If not, your life is in danger. A murderous dogman will come get you. It's true. It's true, chat. I'm going to murder you. Not you. No, I wouldn't. I'd never.
forget to
I
take
would
it personal.
never murder anybody, chat.
Be careful with that toy.
I mean,
Welcome to
no,
Night City.
Morel. I don't want you to be broke. I just want your money.
What can you do? Young
What
and
happened in
naive.
there?
Nothing. Don't worry about it.
I'll tell you soon. I need to get out of here.
Yeah, okay.
I would never murder. Murder is illegal, Jet. I'm always looking for subs. I mean, hey, yo. Cat attack.
You're gonna tell me what happened
Crazy.
back there.
I have a sneaky feeling.
Let's say I have a bad
I'm just a
feeling
whore.
about this.
I don't.
Oh. Happened a lot to you?
Rarely.
Smelling trouble around the bend?
Drive, Jackie. Just drive.
Drive, Jackie. Look at that man. Look how big that man is. Look how long
Someone's
he is. Look at his
coming our
arms.
way.
Look at his muscles.
This does not look
Gasp.
good.
Fear.
Let's get out of here.
On it!
This is so exciting, Jet. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. Look how cool this game looks, though. Look how cool this game looks. Look how future-y. Oh, shit. We gotta kill things. Shit. Break the car, break the car. How many bullets? My God. Blow up car, blow up car, blow up. Yeah. Locked in. I'm locked in, Chad. I'm locked in. I'm locked in. More bullets. More bullets. More bullets. More bullets. So, Chad, I tried to play this game when it first. Hello, Crow. Good morning. Fuck, don't die, don't die, don't die, don't die. Kill it, kill it, kill it, kill it, kill the vehicle. How many bullets? Yes, dudes. Jesus. How am I hurting again? There it goes.
Gotta keep moving.
Shit, we're gonna die, chat. We're gonna die.
Ah, those pendejos are stubborn.
There it is. Faster, 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 Jackie. Faster, Jackie. I don't want to die, Jackie. Jackie, I don't want to die. Yes. No, no, we're not done. Oh, we are. Okay, we made it. We made it.
We lost them.
We made it, chat. We made it. We barely made it.
Not sure my nerves can handle it.
Keep driving. We can't
Come
stop
on,
here.
come on, come on, come on, come on. I'm proud of you, chat. I'm proud of you for making it.
Gonna stop here. Need to sort out a few things before we go on.
We did it, chat. We did it. We did it. Woo!
I almost tagged our
Give me a
ass.
kiss.
That
Give me a
what you
kiss.
call smuggling?
Give me a kiss. We made it. Give me a kiss.
Supposed to
Chat, he
go
won't kiss
smooth.
me.
No problem.
Why won't you kiss me?
If you think this is my fault, at least have the balls to say so.
Chat, will you kiss me instead?
I don't know yet. Is it?
Border security tipped off the corporation that we have their cargo.
What's the deal with these borderlies flipping us the finger as they fucking please? With no
Come on, give me a kiss.
consequences.
He took a risk. He assumed we didn't have a clan
He won't
back
kiss
on
me.
us, and he
Why
was
won't he kiss me, chat?
Pendejamente ridículo. So what now?
So mean, so mean. We kiss.
We've crossed the border. Now you pay me.
Oh, come here,
We go
Echo.
our separate ways.
Mwah.
I ain't gonna lie. I'm a bit light. Can't pay you now.
I have something for you once I collect my scrap for this corpo crap we're carrying.
Oh, and you just figured I would sit by patiently?
Actually, I wasn't gonna pay you at all. I was just gonna bust ass and disappear as soon as we crossed over.
Oh, what a dick.
You're all right.
I will take my plush and kiss you, stick face. Stick face?
You tricked me.
Oh, well, apologies for offending the spotless moral code of a smuggler.
Mwah.
So what's next?
Now we take a peek inside.
You can see what we were smoking, chat. You ready? Let's see what we were smuggling. I've actually read up on the lore of this game, by the way.
Oh, shit. Says Arasaka on the crate. We are robbing some heavy hitters.
Basically,
Make some
world's
heavy
fucked.
money.
World's really fucked. Half like the Midwest, actually I think all of the Midwest and the center of the United States is just like desert. Oh, hey, look, an iguana.
Think you can make some money on it?
Sure. Think it'll make us happy.
Us?
Yeah, partner. We'll go halfsies. Any decent fixer will find a loaded gonk interested in a rare gem like this. It's kind
The
of a
pin
shame,
died.
though. Always
Chat,
wanted
first
a
person to
pin.
say something sus gets pinned. Let's go.
Got the name Manny all thought out. Hey, by the way, you got any plans for what you'll be doing in Night City?
I love him.
I don't have any plans. Spent the last years traveling between states with my
No
nomad
more
family.
shame.
I'll probably be waiting
Give me a
for you
sec.
somewhere, huh?
No,
Pinned.
we decided
Get
to go
pinned.
our separate ways.
That must be tough, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Having no one to go back to. But don't you worry. Let me help you find digs. Gotta live somewhere. Important
Oh, enjoy your
to return
shame.
to. You know, like family. Maybe you'll find your own down in Night City.
Thanks, much appreciated.
Hey, come on. Stop it. We got chemistry, you and me. Be a
No,
crying
thank-
shame to waste it. Partner.
Hey,
Oh my god, look at this guy.
Cuddly little fucker.
Cuddly little fucker.
okay, partner. Time to grab the lizard and scurry out of here.
Chat, that's what my mom used to call me.
Hello there, Night
My mom used to call me a cuddly little fucker.
Stanley here with you, and we got another day ahead of us in this city of dreams. Ooh, I love this
Wake
town.
up, samurai.
Like you might love a mother who popped you out on the steps of an orphanage once and now stops you to
I mean,
ask if
Echo,
you got a
if
smoke
you want
for
another way to
her.
get pinned.
Every new day here means 100 new arrivals, but only half
Look at them
these
committing crime,
consoles
chat. Look at the crime.
and that's That's if it's a good one. And why do these peeps come to NC? Well, to be street samurai like Morgan, Blackhand, and Waylon Boa Boa. The greater the risk, the bigger the bounty.
I love them.
Or so they say.
I think about this a lot, Chad. Do you, how would you feel to have a robot arm?
The faster you live, the faster you burn out. If you don't get a bullet to the brain first.
Like, would you want a robot arm or robot legs? I'd fuck Dr. Pepper if it was a person. What the fuck, Crow? All right, Crow. Crow, welcome to your pin. Welcome to your pin. Why?
The graveyard. Matters not where you're from. Matters not where you start. What matters here is the walk you
Why Dr.
walk.
Pepper? Wait. Chat, are you all Dr. Pepper people?
City. The city of dreams.
Are you all Dr. Pepper people?
Chick we're looking for is somewhere in this building. Probably crawling with the pendejos that kidnapped her.
Pepsi Man.
It's open, all right?
No.
Speaking of which,
I don't like
got you a
Bomb
little
Blast.
something. Militech training shot.
Dr. Pepper's okay.
It's
not bad.
brush
I don't
up
need.
for some target practice in VR.
Not
don't
now,
need
Jack.
tutorials.
No time.
Skip
Maybe
that.
later.
Sure. Mañana.
I never beat this game, chat. I've always wanted to beat it.
Let's do this.
You don't know who Dr. Pepper is?
This way.
Yeah, I know. Hey, look at him, Book. Let me know the game. Yeah, I know, Jackie. We're here. There we go. Arizona. Oh my God, Arizona tea is so good though. You know what I used to drink? Brisk. When I was a child, when I was a young boy, I would go to my friend's house. We're going to call him Felipe.
We're in time, Bug.
And they had
Sure
like
you're on
brisk
phones, but
canned tea.
That don't make you any less part of this squad.
And they told me where it was. And like, oh, you can get yourself a tea. And I'm like, sweet, I got myself a tea. Do you know what I did when I went there, chat?
Bug. Could at least try to beat.
I would drink all of his tea. I drank a 12-pack of his fucking brisk tea, and eventually they had to cut me off. Verner's? I don't know what that is. That sounds interesting, though. And I had another friend. Have you ever had a friend who had a soda fridge? Who had a soda fridge? They had a soda fridge, but it only had diet soda in it, and the rule was you could drink as much soda as you want, but it had to be diet soda. And they had the soda that I loved. It was Diet Right is what the soda's called. Diet Right, white grape, and it was the greatest taste I ever had. It was the greatest soda I've ever had. I loved it so very, 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 very much. From Olive Garden. From Olive Garden?
Is that her? Is that our target, V?
Sandra Dorsett's protected
I wanna go to Olive Garden.
corpo immunity.
Today's Thursday. I could go to Olive Garden.
This one's packing black.
Should we go to
markets
Olive
in.
Garden, chat?
Mira, eyes up.
When I go to Olive Garden after work, I'm gonna go to Olive Garden. I think it'd be fun. I'll take a picture of my Olive Garden food. Take chat with you to Olive Garden. I don't think they're gonna let me just stream in Olive Garden. I could try. I 100% could try.
More bodies incoming. They're almost on you.
They're coming.
All right, let's do this.
Your chance. Pick the prick off.
We'll see. You never had Olive Garden? It's okay. It's not gonna compare to like authentic food, but like as a cheap, like massive amounts of pasta and like breadsticks, and you can get like soup and salad. That's just like infinite soup and salad. It's pretty good.
Thick as locusts. Take one down. Just real quiet. Hey, grab the one closest. Let's take him. Suerte.
Mm-hmm. Chicken, go cook your chicken. I'm not American. I'm afraid of Americans.
Move on. Move up. Behind you, V.
I'm afraid I can't help. I'm afraid of murder. Chat, we're so good at murder. You and I, chat, we are good murderers. I got murder on my mind.
Who's there, for fuck's sake?
Oh my god, look at Jackie nailing this. Wait for it, wait for it, wait for it, wait for it, wait for it. And got him.
Don't see any movement on the sensors. Looks like you got him.
Easy.
Clear to go.
Easy claps, chat.
Where the
Easy
hell's the
claps.
target?
Look around. Gotta be there somewhere.
This is very chill so far. Wait, why are you murdering?
And it's not my favorite way to roll, but
You want to eat my fucking... you... Crazy. That's insane. That's insane. Put away my stick. Put away my stick. Thank you for the hydrate, Em. How you doing, Em? How you doing? You doing okay?
We make it? She alive?
Cheers, cheers, cheers.
To find out.
V, jack into a
Titties.
biomon. Need to know what we're dealing with.
Mm-hmm.
Jacking in.
this does not look good.
If I want stick, I eat stick. I want a breadstick. I want breadsticks. Oh, wait, chat. Chat. Desi gave me Uber Eats gift cards.
0442. Trauma Team Platinum.
I can order Olive Garden. What if I just order Olive Garden?
Trauma should have swooped in if she sneezed.
Guessing they jammed the transmitter, Sig. Looking at a hacked biomon, firmware reconfig, or a neurovirus.
Carajo, T-Bug. You ain't seeing
God,
this place.
Desi bought me a lot of Uber Eats gift cards.
Ice.
I have I think a total of probably
Scott
like
Lunch's hack, huh? Got an idea.
$75 in gift cards right now.
Find a shard. Yeah, pull it. That'll be what's muting the biomon.
Found the shard. Removing now.
Check the biomon. Anything change?
Greetings, Sandra. If you are conscious, assume recovery position now. An emergency evacuation unit has been dispatched and is due to arrive at your location.
You know, Olive Garden for a sponsorship.
Biomon
You need to
trauma
start
over
branding the
3
stream more
minutes.
towards Olive Garden, chat. So when you think Olive Garden, what do you think?
The projected costs of
Cheap,
rescue and
quote unquote Italian food, breadsticks. How do I make that a stream thing, chat? We need to get sponsored by the Olive Garden. Titties. Look at that water. Look at the water.
Flatline it.
V, need to know what's going on.
Jackie, air hypo. Fuck, this is bad.
Catch, chica.
Boobs. They are titties, chat. Stop looking at the titties. We're talking about breadsticks right now and branding, chat. How is I gonna brand to get the Olive Garden sponsorship, chat?
Fuera, chica. Get her
Imagine
outside.
a custom a custom breadstick.
Scab rats.
Okay, it's not cheap anymore, but it used to be cheap.
Must have seen trauma.
Eh,
Decided
Olive Garden, you should only eat in restaurants. You should only look at the titties bounce. Look at that titty bounce, though. Wait.
Fuera, get her out. Terrace.
Sorry. The titty bounce. Oh, right. We're supposed to wait here.
Landing. Stand clear. Initiating security protocol. Follow all instructions.
I got distracted by titties.
Place the patient on the ground.
Itty bitty titty committee.
5 steps back.
Shush, Crow. Fight me, Crow. Weenie. What if I... No, they'd probably kill me. By the way, these guys will kill other people to save you if you have the trauma protocol, but it costs a shit ton of money. So, like, you know, imagine you had to have a chip implanted to get hospital care. and the hospital comes out for you with guns.
Let's get out of here. Elevator goes to the garage door.
Good work. Show's over. Cut my wires now. See you in the near future.
Hi, Jackie. Thanks for coming.
Listen, Chica, I got this thing. Mind if I borrow your wheels?
I know, right? God, I wish I could. I wish I could get free healthcare, but this is like what America's heading towards. I'm gonna be honest, chat. This is what America's gonna probably eventually be.
How's it gonna look for me?
Won't leave you hanging, Jack. Don't get used to it.
You're saving my ass, V. Thank you. How about I drive you home, huh?
Crazy.
She's all yours. I'm beat as it is.
Yeah.
Oh, almost
This
forgot.
is where America's heading.
Chica Wakako in the hollow. Tell her the job's done.
Okay, chat. We're coming up near the end of stream. Unfortunately, I do have work this morning, so we're gonna look at. We're gonna call her. We're gonna see if we can find somebody to raid into. Let's see what we got. Oh, building Legos. Oh, okay, chat. They're doing ASMR. You want to see somebody build Legos?
V, you hear me? Goddamn, dropped it.
We're gonna go raid into Lego building. Been a silly good time. It has been a good silly time. I had a good time, chat. We're gonna do Leia, Panthera.
V, you hear me? Goddamn,
Yeah.
dropped it.
But yes, chat, I had a lovely time. Don't forget, tonight will be the night that I will fall for you over again. Anyways, tonight we are going to be dropping the voice demo. Do not forget, if we get it to 100 likes on Twitter, we are going to
Or she's alive and well.
we're going to be doing a karaoke. As soon as we have 100 likes, that same night we'll be doing drunken karaoke. I'll be going to buy soju. So yes, be here tonight, 4 p.m. MST. Come hang out. And yeah, it's a short demo, voice demo, but I'm excited to post it. Okay? It's going to be great. So yes,
Thanks for the heads
make a Twitter account if you don't have one. If you do have one,
We're down
get on
the
there,
NCPD
retweet it,
Central Watson
repost it,
lockdown.
like it, comment about it,
Tonight
make
we
that
get a
shit
quick
go
fix.
pop. If we get 100 likes, karaoke. The same day we get 100 likes. All right, buddy, we're going to do a little lucky raid here. We're going to do this quickly. Boop, boop, boop. All right, chat, copy the raid message. Y'all are amazing. I love you all so very, 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 very much. Mwah. I had a good time with you all today. I hope you all had a decent time. And we will all see you later, okay? Bye-bye, everybody. Bye-bye. 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 Bye-bye.